It is Wednesday night again, and this is the Wednesday Night Mouse Party. I'm DM Foss, and so far we've got Gizzard Gary with us. How's it
Hey
going,
there.
Gary?
Wow. Going good. Thanks. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Oh, I was a little sleepy and thought about taking a nap, but I was kind of worried that I didn't have enough time after your chat.
Uh-oh.
But, hang on here. I forgot to put a link for the. Let me get to the right tab here. For this week's poll. So if people haven't voted in the poll, hang on, right. Oops. Alrighty there. So let me pin that to the top. There we go. There's a link for this week's poll. So if you haven't voted in the poll, then head over there, give her a vote, and we'll look at that here in just a little bit. And we've got when we hit 100 chats, then we were going to do a giveaway. And I picked up a couple things for the giveaway. Here, I'll show. I've got a t-shirt. It's only one size, 2XL. It kind of looks like it's a little bit small for 2XL, so it's maybe in between an XL and 2XL, but I picked up this. I thought it was kind of funny.
Having worked in the nuclear power industry for over 40 years, yeah, I get a chuckle out of that.
And I also ordered this while I was on your chat. Excuse me. It's a rubber band gun. It's kind of the wood puzzle things you put together. And I thought it was kind of badass. So what we'll probably do is, I think I wanted to do maybe 3 prize packs, give away 2 during the chat, and then do one for people that leave comments on replay. Just so, because most people who watch this will watch it in replay, just so they can participate too. It'll probably, I don't know, maybe let it run for about a week until the following mouse party, and then we'll do the drawing then, maybe something like that. So in about a month or so, when we hit 100, then we'll do that giveaway. So let me bring up this week's poll. It was, do you return your shopping cart to the cart return? 89% said yes, always. 7% said no. They got people to do that. 1% said I do curbside pickup, and 2% said I have it delivered. I was happy to see that pretty much everybody returns their carts. I wasn't sure how it would go. Karen Woodson said, "I always return the carts, even someone sometimes grabs someone else's left behind cart because ding doors piss me off. Stop being lazy about carts, people." Tim Allen said, "Yes, absolutely." Woods said, "I like kids to have jobs. I'll put it safe, but never away." Unpopular Woods' opinion of the day. Excuse me. Edward Cook, "If you don't want dents in your car, put the carts away. Kind of simple." 2A Chef and Barbecue, "Yep. Wife or I always take it to the cart corral. Too many runaway carts at stores. And carts are always dinged because people are worthless and lazy." Let me switch here because I know there's one more comment in there. And Shafty said, "If you're too effing lazy to take your cart back, you're probably already wasted the oxygen you are taking out of the air." I always return my carts. How about you, Gary?
What the local stores, like the grocery stores around here, I usually just go ahead and take it inside and put it back where I got it. Now, if I'm like at Walmart or something like that, I will put it in the little corral they've got for them out in the parking lot most of the time. If that constitutes putting it up, I won't just leave it out there. Let's put it that way.
It kind of depends on whatever's closer. If the store is closer than like a cart return corral, I'll do that, but I don't leave the carts out randomly in the parking
Right.
lot. And the Saint said, "I strap lawnmower engine to a grocery cart and ride it around."
That's a great idea.
Hillbilly said, "I always take my shopping cart back, but I always want to just load a full cart back of the truck so when I get home, I can just wheel the cart and groceries into the house." Mr. Bob Dabalina, "Aldi's rent carts for a quarter. When you return the cart, you get your quarter back, or you can give it to someone who needs a cart but doesn't have a quarter. You get to be a 2-bit hero."
I've done that at Aldi's before. Somebody be standing there and say, "I need a cart, but I don't have a quarter." And it's like, "Here, take this."
I saw a video where somebody used a guitar pick instead of a quarter, and it worked. And you can, I guess, there's no Aldi's around here, but on the opposite side, if you take the little plug from another cart, or I don't know if it reaches around from the same cart, but push in from the other side, it'll pop that quarter back out. So it doesn't keep your quarter. And these are just videos I've seen. I've never seen an Aldi's cart in person, so I don't know if they work or not. Mr. Gwebs, how's it going?
Fair to Midland. Took me a while to find the link. I didn't know where it was. I have to get from Gizzard.
No.
Where are they now?
I didn't send it to you because you
I know,
haven't.
but- I'm
Okay.
over there. I didn't see it over there, so there's no little room for it or whatever.
Well, it's on Discord. It's not
Yeah, I
on.
know. I went over there. And there's no little room for it.
It's clear
Look at
up.
all the-
It's clear
look at all
up.
the- I have to do.
It's clear up to the top where it says StreamYard links.
I didn't see
Very
it.
first room in there. Yeah.
Here, let me call up Discord and I'll show you. Let me stop screen and share screen there. We'll do the Discord there. Let me get rid of that.
I don't
So it's-
return carts as much as. See, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, it's right. It's the very first one.
I just take the cart when I'm done, when it's empty, and put it in front of the vehicle, and then I start accelerating slowly, and then faster and faster and faster and faster and faster, and then I stop and let the cart just careen into wherever. That way, I don't have to return it, and I feel like I've done something with it.
When I was in high school, I worked at a grocery store, and at night, the parking lot was kind of on a slope. So when we had to bring carts up from lower, we just, stack them all up, and then one of the managers would just push it with his car, push the whole line up. I could do it. I think 50 was the most I ever pushed, but that was about the limit of what I could do.
We
It's
used
a
to
lot
do it
easier with a car.
when we first got cars, because you'd have like these big giant parking lots. In the middle of the night, nobody was out there when we were driving around. So we figured out we could play, not really dodgeball because we weren't going to hit each other's cars, but we would line up a cart and like try to see how far we could get it to push, kind of like shuffleboard, I guess, kind of push it as far as we could across the parking lot. Yeah, that's what fun.
Let's take a pic, see who is out there in the chat. Gizzard Gary, Mr. Bob Dabalina, Ozzy Osbourne, Hillbilly Up, The Saint, and Vanessa Kitty. I think that's everybody so far that has said something. Good evening to everyone.
What's up with the thumbnail? Building guns today?
No. It I don't know why it showed that thumbnail. That's not the one that I put in. I had used just the standard Mouse Party thumbnail. That's the header on the channel page.
Oh, okay.
That's the kind of the full shot of that header. But I don't know why it showed that one. I listened to A Clockwork Orange, the audiobook. Have you seen the movie, the Kubrick movie?
I'm not a big fan of it. I probably watched it once when it came out, and then I tried watching it a few times. I don't want to.
The book is I don't know if you say it's worse, but the movie is not as bad as the book is.
Oh, you mean like it's not as like, I don't know, desperate to try to gross everybody out and be weird?
There's like 40% more depravity in the book. Kubrick left out quite a bit. The main character in the book is only 15 and does all that stuff and more.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. You know the movie we're talking about, Gizzard? You seen this one?
No, I have not.
I don't know if it was actually popular, but for a minute there, it was popular with like a group of people, like kids, and they were always watching it. And I'm like, okay, now I'm definitely not watching it. So there's a bunch of dumb kids watching it all the time.
Yeah, when the book was released in the US, they left out the last chapter. So when Kubrick wrote the screen play for it, he didn't have the last chapter. So the book the movie ends before the book ends. And the author said he hated the movie and regretted writing the book because of the movie they made from it. And that the people will get the wrong idea of what the book meant by watching the movie, which I don't.
Really interesting.
Yeah, I don't understand what the overall difference in the meaning between the two. I took them to be the same, pretty much, but definitely not. It's I will never listen to it again.
I mean, would you
Yeah.
put it in the same place as like Fahrenheit 451 in 1984 and the other one?
What's that?
Would you put it in the same realm as like 1984 and Fahrenheit 451 and like those classics of sci-fi?
I would put them in the same realm, but I would listen to the other ones again. I wouldn't have a problem with it.
They describe it in Wikipedia. A Clockwork Orange is a 1971 dystopian crime film adapted, produced, and directed by Kubrick based on Anthony's 1962 novel of the same name. It employs disturbing, violent images to comment on psychiatry, juvenile delinquency, and youth gangs, and other social, political, and economic subjects in a dystopian near-future Britain. So from what I remember of the movie, it's like these really weird ass, like, I guess punk or just weird, like, gangs, and they're going around just doing horrible shit to people. And it's supposed to be like the future where I guess everybody gave up on the kids and the kids just decided to go crazy, and then at the end they catch them or something. I don't know. Like I said, I've only seen it once in a long time ago.
There's some of it might be like there's a lot of slang in it, and then some of the slang is just made up for the book. So it's kind of hard.
The idea of like not understanding who the bad, like somebody comes up and being mean to you and you don't even know why they're being mean or what they're saying to each other. It's just like confusing and out otherworldly or something. That's what it's supposed to do.
And yeah, I mean, the underlining theme of the book I think is good, but the way it's portrayed, I didn't care for.
Is it good because the characters develop and get better, or is it good because they get what's coming to them?
Well, I still am not really sure how to take the book. Like I've read a review on to try and figure out exactly what it was supposed to be about, but what they were saying I didn't get from the book, so I'm not sure. But kind of just a thumbnail sketch. They're small gang of kids. They're doing really bad things. The main character gets convicted, is sentenced to 14 years in prison, does I think 2 years, and then he's offered a program. Basically, it's aversion therapy. So when he thinks about doing violent things, he gets sick. And so he's considered cured because he can't do violent things anymore because he gets sick. But there's people that don't like that because it takes away people's choice whether to be good or bad. And then in the end, I can't remember if they go through a process to reverse the therapy or if he just kind of overcomes the therapy. Again, I'll be, I was listening while working, so I'll miss pieces here and there. And So he goes back to being bad, and that's where the movie ends. But in the last chapter, he kind of starts rethinking where he wants to stop doing that stuff and maybe get married and have a kid. But he's only like 21, I think, 19 or 21 at that point. So he's still really young because it starts out he's only 15 when he starts doing stuff. Hillbilly was asking, is it his connection or G-Web's? Your microphone doesn't sound great.
Oh, you know what? It probably is. I got to restart. I've had this computer on all day, and I don't think this is even listening to this microphone. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. So it's not a book I would recommend to people, just because it is so rough. But I listened to it, and it is what it is, I guess. Do you know about the movie? You said you hadn't seen it. Did you know anything about the movie, Gary?
No, I'm learning a lot tonight.
Oh. I was directed by Kubrick, starred Malcolm McDowell, or I always mix up the two McDowells. Yeah, it's Malcolm McDowell. Roddy McDowell's the other one. It is a dystopian view. It's kind of like do you see it? Have you seen any of the Death Wish movies with Bronson?
Yes.
If Bronson was a bad guy and there wasn't really any good guys, that's kind of a Clockwork Orange.
Oh, okay.
But I thought it was interesting when I was thinking about listening to the book. I read up a little bit about it, and then to see how the author said he wished the book would have gone away, but since they made the movie, it's never going to go away now. But I did some. Let me make myself bigger. I did some of the George Jetson in the oil slick shiny. I forget what this company calls it, which I like them. I thought it came out pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Looks a little better than I've got some glow in the dark ones. Oh, that's.
Is that normal now?
There you go.
Yeah.
That's better. You came in a little hot there for a second, but it's better now.
I somehow have like 5 microphones attached to this computer, so when it doesn't pick this one, it just picks some random one. I don't even know which one it is. It's probably sitting next to a fan or something.
Yeah, I was just saying, I probably, it's not, I can't really recommend it. And I described it to Gary as kind of Death Wish if Bronson was bad, and there's no good guy.
You know what it would be? Death Wish if it was about that gang that rapes his wife.
Yeah.
I hate that movie. Like like Clockwork Orange, I would easily put it in a category of like, don't even watch this movie. It's a stupid movie. Unless you're, I don't know, like an angry kid or something. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's written for angry kids and I missed it. there's like 2001. Like I didn't get that movie, but it didn't like bother me. But Clockwork Orange, I didn't get it, and like, yeah, it just made it like I never want to watch that movie again.
Yeah, 2001 is another one where there's a lot more stuff in the book than there is in the movie. There's whole chunks
But
of
the
stuff that
movie gets a pass because it's a massively good movie, right? With all kinds of effects
Yeah.
of its time and all that. So nobody even bothers about the source material.
And for A Clockwork Orange, I will say that Kubrick did a pretty good job of distilling down what's in the book. But it's I don't know. It's just I felt uncomfortable listening to the book. Early on, there were points where I thought about just stopping it. It's like, do I really want to listen to this? And it's like, well, maybe I'll just listen a little longer. Once you get past where he goes to jail, where he goes to prison, then all the really rough stuff is over with. But getting to that point is really rough. Yeah, like with 2001, when the not Dave astronaut, when Hal kills him, his whole death scene is a little longer in the book, and then Dave continues on with the mission, which is not in the movie. Whole sequence of, just kind of pushing through to the objective. Have you seen that one, Gary?
Yes.
Okay.
A long time ago.
It's been several years, yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah. Except for the weird dream sequence parts. Those were kind of weird.
The Saint is asking, is that the movie with the cowboy hat? Right? No, that's
Doctor Strangelove.
Doctor Strangelove, or How I. It's got a really long title. Doctor Strangelove, or How I Learned Not to Be Afraid and Love the Bomb, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Is the full title. Or Slim Pickens is writing the bomb down. Yeah, Mr. Bob saying Doctor Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. And the Saint said, I think we have a new bracket. I'd love to get a new bracket. My bracket's old. And it's hard to keep it running.
I know there was one movie I watched where I read the book first, then watched the movie, and I was disappointed in the movie because it wasn't nearly as good as the book was, and that's Forrest Gump.
I have not read the book. I did like the movie.
It's got way more adventures in the book.
That's what I read that. They're like, he goes into space even.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the way it usually is, where the book is better than the movie.
But I'm sure they had to condense it down for time.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad movie. It's a good movie. But the book's better.
I don't think there's ever been a movie where I read the book first. It's always been, I've seen the movie, like the movie, and then go back and read the book. I think. Well, I I think the only one where I read the book first would have been. No, I think I saw the Huckleberry, not Huckleberry Finn, the other one.
Tom Sawyer.
No, yeah, Huckleberry Finn. I saw the Disney. I think it was Disney did it,
I'm pretty sure
First.
we read that book first.
and then read the book.
Oh yeah.
We read it in school.
Yep.
Before I was the movie, I think.
I think I saw the movie first before reading it in school, but it probably would have been close. And I liked both. I have not read. Did I? I think I did read Tom Sawyer. I don't remember. I know parts of the book. So I think I read it. There's lots of books that we were supposed to read in school that I didn't read. I was hardly ever at school. I didn't enjoy it, so I didn't go.
So you probably missed out on To Kill a Mockingbird and all the classics.
Yeah, I did not.
Yeah.
Did not read that one. Mr. Bob said when they made that movie, they didn't tell Slim Pickens that the movie was a comedy, so he played his part like he was making a movie about bombing Russia. And the Saint said, I remember summer break reading program in schools. I did read stuff, but I didn't read the stuff I was supposed to read. Like the Scarlet Letter. I
Yep.
didn't read that. Then we did wasn't quite a play, but in class. So I just kind of made up stuff that kind of bodged my way through it. What other books did you have to read in high school?
Well, let's see. 1984.
I didn't
Animal Farm.
Didn't read it.
Trying to think. That was a long time ago.
Animal Farm's definitely worth reading.
I've listened to the audiobook. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, okay. You just mean you didn't read it in school.
Yeah, I didn't read it in school.
I don't even remember what we were supposed to read in school. Whatever it was, it didn't last very long. Or it didn't hold, you know.
Mr. Bob said I read a ton of Reader's Digest growing up, including the edition that had the Oak Island treasure story. In grade school, we would read Reader's Digest, the stories, the condensed stories that they would do. And I think we did book reports. I don't remember. I know we read them, and I enjoyed those. The Saint said Robinson Crusoe. I'm not sure if I actually read that one. I think I did.
Yeah.
No, I saw the movie. I know I've read part of it. I don't know if I read the whole thing. Yeah, I can't really remember much of what I read from school. Is when I was in grade school, like Judy Blume was really popular. I did read where the poems in Where the Sidewalk Ends and what's the other one, like Light in the Attic. Ozzy said, can't think of the title, but it's set in the 20s. That might be
Great Gatsby.
Great Gatsby.
Yeah, you have to read that.
Did not read that one either.
I don't know what the point of all those things are. Maybe it's before there were movies, like a lot of movies that people could easily get to. It was a way that everyone would have a similar, is it zeitgeist the right word? Like a similar frame of reference to go from or something. I mean, I know they taught you lessons and shit also, but the reason they picked those particular ones for like decades, maybe it's because they wanted to give us some consistency or something.
I don't know. There was in high school, I don't remember what book it was, but I asked the teacher, why do we have to read this? This book sucks. And he goes, well, you have to read bad books so you know what good books are.
Might be something to that. Let's see. I'm looking at a list of some of the more popular of Mice and Men,
Yeah. I didn't
Catcher
read
in the
that.
Rye.
Flowers in the Attic. Or Flowers for Algernon.
Oh, Brave New World. I remember that one. Yeah.
Yeah, Brave New World 1984 and Fahrenheit 451 were all the political ones that we had to read back then.
And then the requisite Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet stuff.
I never had to read that shit, I don't think. I'm glad. At least I don't ever remember reading that stuff. I think you had to take advanced words. And I stopped taking words as soon as I could help it. Like whatever reading in English, whenever I could stop, I stopped.
Not sure which one Mr. Bob was saying sounds like Les Mis. I enjoyed the musical Les Mis. Les Miserables.
I've seen musicals because I was a little kid. My grandparents took me to them, but then ever since I've been able to make my own decisions, I've never seen another musical. I hate them.
I
hate
do like them, but I'm
musicals and movie musicals. I don't like anything about that.
I'm kind of picky. I like The Music Man.
Music Man is good.
Grease. I saw
Fiddler
Grease
on the
in
Roof is usually pretty good.
I thought Fiddler was okay.
I've seen Annie.
Annie, I like it.
Oh, Little Shop of Horrors.
Little Shop of Horrors.
None of those appeal to me.
And some of the operas.
Opera's different. I never had to go to an opera, but I can listen to an opera without, or like listen to opera music, I guess. I'm not going to sit there for 3 hours listening to opera.
Oh, yeah, Oklahoma. I've seen that a few times, too.
We did see Les Miserables when they came to Seattle. That was back
And that's just a movie about a bunch of poor people in France speaking in French about being poor.
Well, it was the stage musical.
Well, okay, stage musical about people in
Yeah.
France being poor, speaking in French about being poor in France.
Yeah, it was. There was a popular general that died, and his supporters kind of rose up because they were poor and hungry. And
Did he invent the French bread or the French fry or the French toast?
I don't think any of those.
Huh, that's weird.
But it wasn't about the French Revolution, which I think a lot of people think it was. Oklahoma, I thought was okay. I didn't care for Seven Brides for Seven Brothers personally, but
Oh yeah, Lord of the Rings before the movies. That's a good point. Nobody read that, or everybody read that first because the movies just barely came out.
I read The Hobbit when I was a kid, but I did not
Mhm.
read Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, Hobbit.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right. And I had to read that for school, but I count it all as the same thing. But you're right, it is different. But I knew people that read Lord of the Rings back in the '80s, way before it was ever a movie.
Oh,
Because they shit.
Lord of the Flies was probably another one that
yes.
which I
read.
did not read.
No, I don't remember reading that.
New York Outcast is out there. He's up early. Or up
We're
late.
up late.
He's got to get to work.
I'm guessing up early. He's probably got an early start.
What is it, like 3 a.m. over there now already?
Yeah, be close to it.
That's crazy. Oh, you know what I had to read, I think? 2,000 Leagues Under the Sea. 'Cause I remember reading that, and I wouldn't have read it. Oh, maybe I did. It might have been more of like, hey, go read 6 books this summer, and I read it. I think it was something more like that. I don't think we had to read it.
I did not read it during school. I have listened to the audiobook. It was
I remember
part of
reading it. But I also might have read a little kid version, which was essentially smaller, I think.
yeah.
Abbreviated or something.
Yeah, in the book there's a lot more traveling than there is in the movie. It's kind of like a journal of we went here, then we went here, then we went here. But I enjoyed it. I was kind of surprised on the Discord. Somebody had asked about a channel for listing books. So I put one up, and then he listed a bunch of books, and then I listed the stuff that I listened to kind of last year and the beginning of this year. And I didn't realize that I had listened to that many books. It was just kind of the books that I was supposed to have read in high school but didn't read. I thought I'd finally go back and listen to them and maybe make myself less dumb. I don't know if it's working, but I have enjoyed listening to the books. Ozzy said, I read a lot of Hardy Boy books. I didn't read the books, but I watched the TV show. I think I might have actually read some of the Nancy Drew books.
You know what was good back in the older days for in school days was Choose Your Own Adventures when those came out.
Yeah.
Those things were a lot of fun.
I definitely had some of those.
I'm pretty sure I had a bunch of those. We had that deal where if you'd read during the summer, you got something. So I read during the summer.
I
Look,
think I
back
got
in-
mine.
If you went somewhere in a car, like you had to read, otherwise you were going to go nuts. Just looking out the window all the time. A lot of our states are boring as shit when you look out the window at them. You know, sometimes it's interesting, but a lot of them, you know, corn and soya beans and all the rest of that shit looks boring as hell when you're driving past it. So that's where reading books during summer, you know, gave something to do.
I think most of the like choose your own adventures and grade school were books I bought through the Scholastic.
Yeah, where they go to your gym, set up,
Yeah,
you can buy a bunch of books off of it.
yeah. And I know I got some posters. I don't remember what they were. Rob said R.L. Stein Goosebumps wasn't horrible for school books. I never read any of those. Those kind of came out after I was grown up.
It's like our little brothers read that stuff. We didn't read that stuff.
Yeah.
I read them when my kids were reading them, just so I could see what they were making kids read. And really, they weren't horrible.
They were just like Scooby Doo or something, if I remember right. They weren't like super difficult or anything. But they were like ghost stories or something.
Mm-hmm.
What are you drinking? I'm drinking the generic carbonated water again.
I've got just straight water.
Man, you put bubbles in water and it tastes it's way better. Like it kills all the dryness, mouth, whatever you get in your mouth. Or I don't know, maybe y'all don't get that being in your fancy humid climates. But my mouth gets super dry, so this I think it's like wetter or something. Like helps cut the thirst better.
I don't drink a lot of carbonated stuff.
It's killing me because I'm paying $1 for that generic thing. I got to get my soda stream going because I'll eventually cheap out on this, but I think it's cheaper than coffee, maybe. I haven't drank coffee in forever. I don't remember last time I drank coffee.
Last time I drank coffee was last year. The Black Rifle coffee we got at Thunder on the Prairie.
Oh, yeah. I have some coffee. I like drinking coffee. I just don't have any coffee maker set up right now.
I don't know. I like the smell of coffee. The taste is okay, but I've never had a cup of coffee and thought I am now more awake than I was before I drank this coffee. It doesn't wake me up any more than if I ate something, ate a snack. That a nectarine?
This is a big ass peach, I think. It's pretty big.
Does it have fuzz?
Yeah. Not kind of. No.
It looks like a nectarine.
Yeah, and it's not shiny though. You know what I mean? It's got a little bit of something going on, but it isn't fuzz for sure.
I like nectarines a little more than peaches. They're not as messy.
I buy whatever's cheaper. Everything else was $2.89. These were $2, and they're bigger. So, and I'm happy. This is super sweet. It's 86 degrees outside right now. 90 degrees
crap.
outside my freaking house. This is at 11:51 at night. It'll get down to 76 though by 3 a.m. like he's got. That's when I turn all the fans on.
It's probably maybe like 60 degrees out. It got up to 80 today.
Ugh,
Right now,
140, I think.
67. It's going to get down to 46.
Damn, that would be nice. We need temperature tubes, I'm telling you. What if you just, those, how when you ship things, you can put air in there? What if you just put some of your 46 degree air in a box and ship it down here, and I'll open it at like 105 in the afternoon?
You can try.
Just like air conditioning.
Rob said 76 at 2:50 a.m. A hot day ahead. That's the way it was when I lived in Eastern Washington. I'd get off at work at 7 in the morning and it'd be 80 degrees already.
I had to go out today. Tomorrow I don't have to go out. I can stay inside, try to be as cool as possible tomorrow.
Yeah, I was inside all day. We've got a heat pump, which I love. I'm really glad we did the heat pump, because I will not realize how warm it is outside. There's been times where I have to run out, so I'll throw a jacket on and go outside. It's like 75, 80, and I didn't realize it. For books, as an adult, like The Final Countdown, I like that book. I've seen the movie, but I enjoyed the book.
Do you like the song?
I kind of do. Marshenko's books, the Rogue Warriors. I think the first one is the best one.
Well, I like Red Cell a lot, but I like Rogue Warrior a lot. So,
I did not read the Rogue Warrior's Guide to Business. I think something like that.
Leadership Secrets of the Rogue Warrior is his first one. I read that one every year. It's one of my favorite books just to read. It's a really good, like, taking his military aggressiveness and throwing it into business and just, professionalism. It's really cool.
What was the last book you read, Gary?
Well, I'm trying to think. Probably that Glock book.
Oh, Glock, America's Gun. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good book just to read for everybody.
Yeah. It was really interesting.
Rob should read that book over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
We should just read a chapter every time we have him on. Every time he's watching, just read another chapter, and eventually he'll have heard the entire Glock book.
Gary got a new gun today.
Yes, it did.
Oh, I think I heard
30 super carry.
I can give you the number of somebody to have on for an interview, and they'll send you a bunch of ammo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the guy from Federal that I know, and then the other guy from Federal that I can hook you up with.
That sounds good.
Plus, you do videos and stuff. They sent me ammo, and I don't even have a gun for it. Girl with the Dragon Tattoo books. I think movie. I didn't know those were books.
There's Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, like Girl with a Tattoo on the Train, and my wife read them.
Oh wait, what was I going to say? Is it like mysteries or something, or was it like or something?
I believe they're murder mysteries.
Okay. Barbecue sent me a 9mm book, so I do own a book on 9mm. But I won't read it.
It's too small.
It's written in some weird language.
Yeah.
Every time I grab it, it makes my wrists limp. I drop it. It's too heavy.
Bob.
You need to get a new gun. I need to get an FFL. I am way too cheap to pay for an FFL ever again. I have too big of a YouTube channel to pay for FFLs, in my opinion. So I need to have some FFL that'll hook me up. And I'm too lazy to ask them.
Mr. Bob said having ammo and a caliber you don't have a gun for is nature's way of telling you need to go get a new gun. I've got a box of 357 SIG. I don't have a 357 SIG gun.
What gun did you buy, Gizzard? The Smith Wesson.
Yeah, Smith and Wesson. It's a Shield Plus.
Then what's your feelings on Pincus? Why don't you have him on? You got one of his guns. I'm sure I send you one.
I mean, I saw Clover did a video on that this last week, I believe. That was interesting.
I bought a shotgun because I bought the wrong ammo before, but I don't think I've ever bought a pistol. Have I? I may have. No, because I'd have to buy. I can't. Well, because I have way too much ammo. I definitely have not bought a gun for every ammo I have.
Only ammo I bought by mistake one time is I got a couple boxes of 17 HMR because it was mixed in with the 22 Magnum, and I grabbed 4 stacks of it, not even realizing what I'd done till I got home.
You don't know the gun before yet.
Mm-mm.
What is it? 17 HMR.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you pretty much got to buy a gun for that. There's not too many conversions for that.
Oh, Sarge loves it, doesn't he?
17 HMR. I like it. It looks
Yeah.
cool. I don't care about shooting it, but it looks cool as hell. Is that the
Sarge
mag?
is
Or
Sarge
Mach
is
2?
the 22 TCM guy, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
All I have is a 22 TCM, the new one, P or something. But for years, I kept asking, is it Rock River who makes that, to give me a dummy round, and they would never give me a dummy round at SHOT Show. I think that peach was too sweet. Or just ate half of it.
oh, the gun I really want and have wanted for since they announced it is the Taurus TH10. Ever since they came out with they announced the 45, I knew that gave them the large frame to do the 10. But I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever get one. I have the TH9 and I really like it. And I'm really interested in the TH10.
From what I hear, it's kind of hard to come by.
Yeah. Although at Thunder on the Prairie, I shot Wayward Son's Grand Power, the P40. I kind of like that.
Is Wayward Son in Nebraska?
No, he's in Illinois. I think Illinois.
Yeah, that's right.
Way.
So he wants to leave Illinois.
Oh, I ate the whole peach. I'm just saying, I'm almost regretting it because it is 11. Well, yeah, 12 o'clock at night eating a peach. Probably, I don't get heartburn from eating pizza, but I'll get heartburn from eating like a really sweet peach like that. I go right to bed. Or I could. I don't like it every time, but anyway, I probably won't go right to bed, so it'll be all right. But Illinois is quite a drive. What does he hang out in somebody's chats? And I don't know.
I've never seen him.
No, he's got a pretty good sized channel of his own. He's got his own FFL, and he's got a custom. He runs a custom gun.
Oh, he did all the logo stuff for the show.
Yes.
So that's
yeah,
how they
his wife. That's his wife's business that does all the printing and stuff.
But that's how he was affiliated with the shoot then?
I don't know.
He's been to every one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, there's a place called The Site in Illinois, but it's like invite only, and it's used to be Blackwater, so it's like kind of fancy. So I could see, in Illinois, where you're going to go. Wisconsin, Wisconsin just to like a version of Illinois. You drive all the way to Indiana, maybe, but I can't think of any facilities in Indiana. And then Iowa. Well, it's a shame that Iowa doesn't have something. They could, but it's not that far. It's on the east side of Nebraska, right where you went. So I guess you only have to really drive across to Iowa, really, which is still a pretty long drive. But I'm not trying to shame Iowa into not having because they don't have a giant facility like that. But yeah, cornfields are expensive. They don't want to knock down a cornfield, I guess. You notice Justin isn't saying nothing.
Yeah, I haven't been in any chats where I've seen him, so I don't know which ones he goes to. I just figured he somehow knew either Defense Dad or Travis P11 and kind of hooked up through that way.
To be honest, I don't know the story of how he come to be associated with the group.
Rob said no one's willing to battle the Children of the Corn. G-Webs.
No, see, that gets past me. I never saw that movie. Is that the name of the movie, Children of the Corn, or that's just the saying?
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen that movie. I never watch horror movies or scary movies. I haven't seen any recent ones. I've only seen the guy with the hand or with the blades on his hand because I thought that was cool when I was a little kid.
Oh,
but then the first one I quit watching. That.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, Freddy Krueger.
But I can't. Those movies are so stupid. A gun would end all of those movies. A knife would end all those movies. Somebody with wits about them would end all those movies.
I liked them when I was younger. Now, And I didn't see any of the like Saw or the gory just for the sake of being gory.
Yeah, I don't watch any of that stuff. Which probably I'm gonna go ahead and just blame all those movies for the why guns have been shifted. The Overton window got shifted because it's probably all those movies. I haven't actually seen them, but I'm gonna go ahead and blame them.
As he said, if you build it, they will come.
I heard that.
I like that movie.
It is a good movie.
I did like that one.
I have followed that philosophy more than once. And I think it's true. You build something and then you can't, it's chicken before the egg or chicken before the egg. Like you can't expect people to come do something unless there's a place to go do it. That's what happens on enough topics.
Yeah.
I've been watching.
I did write
reviews and stuff. I was going to go back and see if I watch any new movies or anything. I've been watching. I watched the last episode of that Acolyte or whatever they call them, the new Star Wars, and
the Acolyte.
Yeah, it is bad. Everybody hates it, and I'm trying to watch it, and it's difficult to give it any credit because it's essentially a stupid drama. There's no Star Wars in it.
One, I don't get that channel, and two, I refuse to watch it.
Yeah, I'm not going to suggest anybody doesn't do that. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing to watch in it. I don't even know if they pulled out a lightsaber like 4 times on it. So I started watching Obi-Wan Kenobi again. But I'm looking. I think there hasn't been any like good new movies coming out, so I've been watching movies from the past over again, I guess.
I
There's a
the only
couple good.
one.
Oh, I did watch Enter the Clones of Bruce Lee. That's actually pretty interesting. So it has nothing to do with cloning Bruce Lee. What it is after Bruce Lee died and creating that interest in kung fu movies, essentially movies from
Right.
China with this kind of that kind of movie. It was essentially just a documentary about the different ways that people attempted to create another version of Bruce Lee movies so that people could watch Bruce Lee movies. So it was all right. It was mostly in Chinese, or at least a third of it or to half of it was in Chinese. So I watched it, but there's no subtitles. At least the version I seen it. So I'm listening to Cantonese or whatever it is, Chinese, and then every once in a while they have somebody who speaks English, or they jump. You know how sometimes when you're speaking whatever foreign language, you jump into English because our words are our words or whatever. So I didn't really get all of it, but it was interesting. There was a lot of interviews with the people today who were the guys who were replacing Bruce Lee, I guess, in all these different kind of movies. And obviously it didn't take off, right? There was that Bruce Lee exploitation or whatever, but there wasn't a success from that other than if you call Chuck Norris and, all those kind of movies.
Jackie Chan said that after Bruce Lee died, everybody was trying to be the next Bruce Lee. That's
Right.
why his movies were comedies, because he wanted to kind of separate himself out from that.
I don't think he was in it much, but yeah, I could totally see that. I mean, we all know that that's what happened, but it makes sense. But it was just, I had no idea how many. Essentially, everybody who was making movies in Hong Kong was like, oh, well, let's just make a Bruce Lee like movie, So essentially, give the guy a white T-shirt and blue pants, and then make them look as much as they can like him, and then fight like him, and then put them in different scenarios so that they can make similar movies. So then there's Ultraman Rising. It's a cartoon. You gonna watch it?
I don't know. I've seen the commercials on YouTube for it, but
It's horrible
Oh.
and it's good.
I like the animation, the style.
I don't like the style. It is interesting and it's well done, but it's stupid looking. It's kind of like Spider-Verse. I don't really love Spider-Verse, but it's not as good as Spider-Verse or anything. But the way that they draw Spider-Man now, real lanky,
Yeah.
and it's like that. And it's just his dad. So it's Ultraman just has a kid, and now his kid is Ultraman, and now the dad is Ultra Dad. And then, of course, there's a cute little. So the monster that get, like the Godzilla monsters, Kojis or whatever they're called. Kanjis, what are they called?
Kaiju.
Kaijus. There's a little baby, one of them, and that's what it's about. Ultraman has to raise a little baby kaiju, and the kaiju's as big as like a float on Thanksgiving. So it's big to us, but it's little to Ultraman. So when he's Ultraman, it's little, and when he's a normal dude, it's giant, and it runs around doing antics, and it's like a hour and 17-minute movie, so there's a lot that goes on. It's setting up a TV show for sure. I don't know. I'm curious to see if you're even going to watch it, but I mean, I would watch it again probably, even though it's shitty. Like, it is interesting. It's kind of like Speed Racer. It fills a spot that hasn't existed in my opinion, because I don't watch a lot of that animation. So maybe it's something. Maybe it's copying something. I don't know, but to me, it's like a fast-paced. It's kind of like Spider-Verse. It's like a fast-paced animation thing. The problem is it's got that stupid baby kaiji thing in it, and that's like essentially the whole movie, so you can't even get around it. Which is essentially it's just for
Like
kids.
the Star Wars Clone Wars cartoon. I never watched it because I couldn't stand the way the characters looked.
See, I got
like
used
the
to it.
animation style.
Yeah, I got used to it because of the Star Wars stories. This isn't Star Wars stories. This is Ultraman. And in my opinion, they butchered the shit out of Ultraman. They made it really lame. But it's the only Ultraman we got, and I'm a big Ultraman fan, so I watched it. But I think that's all I seen. That was since the last time we talked on the weekend or whatever.
Oh, I wanted to rewatch Something Wicked This Way Comes. I was gonna rewatch it after I talked about it, the book, but it's on Disney Plus, which I don't have.
It's not on like YouTube. You look on YouTube.
Yeah, I looked on YouTube. It's do you like the Godzilla type movies, Gary?
Don't think I've ever seen one.
What?
I mean, what? Any of them?
Mm-mm.
Oh, goodness.
I'll give you a movie recommendation, Gary. One that I will guarantee that none of the hens have watched. It's a Japanese movie. It's kind of a kaiju, monster movie. Big Man Japan. It's a comedy.
Okay.
I'd be really interested in what you thought about that movie.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, my place has Little Big Man and Big in Japan, but nothing else close.
Yeah, it's I think from like the 2000s. Maybe
2007 is what I'm seeing.
2007, yeah.
Interesting hairstyle, that's for sure.
What are you eating, pistachios or something?
Sunflower seeds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I want to watch the whatever the latest Godzilla versus King Kong. I'm not optimistic, but I'm curious, so I want to watch it.
With the little baby King Kong and stuff.
Yeah,
It goes on and on. It's good, but I don't know. Which one is it the King Kong from? I think it is the King Kong from. I don't know what year it was. The one that is separate from all the other King Kongs, and the guy,
the ratty suit, or
the one from Lord of the Rings made it. Peter Jackson made it, I think.
oh, the one with Jack Black.
Yeah. So that part's I don't like, but I think isn't it that King Kong where he has a fight with two Tyrannosauruses down the side of a cliff, and they get stuck in the vines and shit.
I don't remember.
That part was really good. Like I really like that King Kong. Everybody hates that King Kong, but I think that's one of the reasons I like that King Kong so much. So King Kong is minding his own business or something, and he's on top of a hill, and then I forget why. Probably that girl did something stupid, and he went to go catch her, and the next thing you know is there's like two different Tyrannosaurus Rexes trying to wail on him, and he's like fighting them off.
Did you like Skull Island?
I can't not like him, but I didn't love him. The guns and stuff were too dumb, and I didn't like Samuel L. Jackson's character, and I didn't like the weird guy on the boat character because I don't like those actors. Well, I like Samuel L. Jackson. I didn't like that role or the way they wrote that role. It would have been cooler if it was a more of people trying to help King Kong instead of people trying to kill King Kong. But I don't know. Yeah, I guess so. I didn't love every aspect of it, but I think it's like, what do you call that when you have to like your abuser because they're feeding you? Like it's the only King Kong we got, so I have to like it. But I didn't love it. But it's a King Kong.
I liked it, but it wasn't one that I thought was worth rewatching.
I've rewatched it, but yeah, every time I rewatch it, it just frustrates me because there's some dumb things and scale is weird. Oh, the scale is horrible in Ultraman. He just sits in the middle of the ocean, Indian style, in the ocean, having a comment. It's like just stupid. Like the ocean's just a puddle when it needs to be, and then whenever it needs to be, like a river can be 200 feet deep.
Did Skull Island have the two-legged
Yeah,
kind of
the-
lizard monster things?
yeah. I know
Those
you
are
woke
such a lame design.
Yeah, like, oh, we woke up late and we got to draw the monster for this movie. Like, oh, I don't have time. Yeah, it's fine. That'll work. Nobody will care. Nobody's watching the movie anyway for the monsters. I don't know what they were thinking. The one thing in the water that he eats, like this, I don't know if it's an octopus or a squid or something, like that creature was cooler than the stupid bad guy creatures.
I watched a video. It's probably 10. Was it 10 years ago? But it kind of talking about why all the monsters look the same and are bad. But they're not good designs, and it had to. I think if I remember, it had to do with the engine that they're using to design. It's why they all look the same.
Oh, well, that would make sense, I guess. I was going to say, I thought you were going to say something like they wanted it to be lamer than King Kong or Godzilla, the main character, so they have to make it stupid looking or fight bad or something. But if they're only using, or if they're using their best quality stuff on the main character and their second best quality stuff on that character, I guess that might be why. Or they just hire the one company to do the bad guy creatures all the time, and they hired the good company to do the good creatures.
The Godzilla -1, -0, -1, whatever it is. I was listening to it was you and Yankee and Never Enough Ammo talking about it, and listening to Matt say how much he loved it. I didn't love it.
No, it's hard to love when you can't even understand. You have to read the whole thing, but it is pretty
Well,
good. Like,
I've been, ever since a kid, I've been dealing with subtitles, so that's not a problem. The story was good. The whole kamikaze part of the story was good. The Godzilla part, I really had issues with some of the animation in it, and that's what drug it down for me. But I don't see loving it.
I just like that it's a new and different kind of Godzilla, and it's Godzilla, but it's not my favorite Godzilla, I don't think.
And I've heard other people, say pretty much the same thing, and I just don't. I am a big Godzilla fan, but I just don't. I don't know why. People have a reaction like that, and I don't.
Well, a lot of people will just take whatever you give them. They don't care. Matt watches a lot of movies, so I think he's got a weaker palate than some folks, or a more watered down palate, or whatever that's called. Like, he'll accept more because he watches a lot of stuff. Pretty much have a movie going, unless I'm doing something where it's just completely annoying to have a movie going. I pretty much have a movie going instead of radio most of the time, so I'm like the opposite of Gizzard. I think I've seen so many movies that I don't even like. Like, every once in a while I'll have like a block and I can't think of something to watch, and I'll scroll through my go-tos, Live, Die, Repeat, and a couple others that I watch over and over and over, and nothing suits nothing. So I'll just do like a search on sci-fi, maybe backwards most watched or something, or most commented on or something like that. So I see like the least commented on or the least watched, or sometimes I'll just say reverse timeline or whatever, and they'll show me their oldest stuff. Then get into like the 70s and find something. But I don't know. I like having movies going constantly all the time.
Larry Knopf is out there. Good evening. Must have just got home from work.
As he's talking about the Godzilla with Ferris Bueller in it, and I didn't mind that one. Everybody else hates that one.
I did not care for it. I didn't like the Godzilla design, the more iguana look.
Yeah, and it didn't make much sense. It's a really bad movie for like that river that he's in. Is one moment he's standing in it, and the next moment he's dead, sinking to the bottom. Like that river would have so much water in it if that lizard could sink to the bottom of it and be gone. It made no sense. It's just, I don't understand how they do that in movies. It drives me nuts that a river can't have just a depth and be that depth, or like a bay, or any body of water can't just have a depth. Like they gotta have this fucking Godzilla stand in it all the time, like ankle deep. Like if he somehow can, like a bird, like balance on a branch, except somehow he can walk on water or like float on water. It just makes no sense.
I didn't overall care for it. There were some parts were okay. Hank Azaria was okay in it.
Uh-huh.
The French
And
dude,
yeah, for sure.
I liked him in pretty much everything I've seen him in.
But I like how there's like a little bit of a mystery. There's like something going on. It's not just Godzilla being a dick.
Yeah.
It's like something going on. But then Godzilla being a hermaphrodite or whatever was weird. And then a bunch of baby Godzillas, essentially just toys. So, one or two baby Godzillas would have been like neat, but billions of them just made no sense. Like how much material can come out of that one Godzilla? Like there was an entire thing of eggs. He would have to sit there for years and years to make that many eggs. Just to, how many fish would that Godzilla have had to eat to be able to create that many eggs? Unless he's got some kind of magical egg. Anyway, that part of it made no sense. If there would have been like a herd of Godzillas in there laying eggs, maybe, or a swarm of Godzillas laying eggs, but it was a ridiculous amount of eggs. But I did like the Godzillas that were about the size of people running around. I guess that's more of a dinosaur movie at that point. Jurassic Park. Wait, when did that come out compared to Jurassic Park? Way before, right?
I don't know.
I'll have to do a look. Gojira. I remember when that was. Probably 90 something.
Jurassic Park was 93.
Godzilla movies in order.
Matt 98 was a Broderick one.
And you said 93?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this was way after. Well, it says in this one, French nuclear test irradiate an iguana into a giant monster. So that Godzilla is literally about an iguana. Which is a fucking fake origin story for Godzilla. It makes no sense.
Mr. Bob said he just missed his gun while listening. Saved a trip to the professionals. Glad we could help. And New York Outcast asked, anybody remember American Ninja? I do.
Very much. So according to this, there are Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire, the newest one that came out, is Godzilla Gojira movie number 38. That means Gizzard has intentionally not watched 38 movies over the years. starting in 1954 was the first Garjura.
Well, I wasn't alive in '54, so you got to give me a pass.
All right,
on that.
I'll give you those seconds. 54, 55, 63, 64, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 85, 89, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 98, 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2014, 2016, 2017, 2018, another 18, 2019, 2021, 2023, and then another one in 2024. There's like a couple of gaps, but that's almost a Gajurera movie every year. That's awesome. A bunch of those, though, are, what do you call these ones from like 2018, 17? Like Godzilla Planet of the Monsters, Godzilla City on the Edge of Battle, Godzilla the Planet Eater. Those are like modern guy in a suit smashing on buildings, right?
Yeah.
Like modern versions of the 1950s. So they're kind of tough to watch for some people, I think. You like those ones?
I do. Well, the more modern ones are, I like the old guy in a rubber suit. Just probably mainly nostalgia.
Well, also Godzilla just didn't come up with a new power every time they made a new movie for the fuck of it. Like, oh, now my things get glow in the dark, and now I can zap my laser breath through the Earth's crust, and now I can, pretty soon he's gonna be time traveling or flying or something.
Well, he does fly. Kind of goes into fetal position, uses atomic breath, and flies in the 70s.
Fighting a flying monster.
Yeah. So I think that's in might be the 75 movie. Because it's I think it's Megalon, Godzilla versus Megalon. Because I think that's the one that has Jet Jaguar. Jet Jaguar. Which it's considered one of the worst movies. It's my favorite, even though I know it's bad. They use footage from the previous Godzilla movie in it to save money. Or yeah, I think that's the one. Larry said they need Godzilla week like Shark Week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down.
Well, with 38 of them, you'd be watching like 5 a day. No, 7, 5 a day, right?
When I was in grade school, I even watched the cartoon.
Yeah, I can remember drawing the cartoon a lot, but it wasn't my favorite. I mean, I did at the time. I liked it, but it's pretty far-fetched. And didn't he have a little baby Godzilla hanging out with him in the cartoon?
Yeah, Godzuki. I didn't care for Godzuki, but
anytime they bring an Oliver in, it's annoying.
yeah.
Or a Scrappy Doo.
So how many of those movies were there?
38, but it's in a couple of 3 eras, essentially. The first one's from like the 50s to the 70s, and then in the mid 2010s, there was a bunch made in Japan, and then now, in the last 5 years or something, they've been making a whole new series of Godzilla and King Kong mixed together.
I just looked it up, and there were 27 of the Bond movies made, and I haven't seen any of those either. So
yeah, that Godzilla I can almost understand, because you almost have to want to watch a giant lizard killing everybody. But James Bond makes no sense. I can't imagine like you weren't even interested in watching a James Bond movie after all. You've still never seen one?
Nope.
Yeah, that makes you're not even interested in seeing one. Like, I could watch one anytime, but nah, I'm not gonna watch it.
No, I've thought about it, but it's like if I get started, I'm gonna have to watch them all, and
No, they're
that's
not.
27 movies. And to be fair, I'd have to start with the first one and go in chronological order.
No, you got a cheat guide because every once in a while I'll try to watch something like there's a movie I can't remember what's one with the round hole that they go through, Stargate. So there's like Stargate movies, and that started with one movie, and then there's a shit ton of them now because it was a TV show for a while, for 3 TV shows or 5 TV shows even. Anyways, you can go watch or go find people that will put the watch order in better, more fun watch orders than just chronological. So like James Bond was a bunch of books, and then I forget the actual story, but essentially the guy who wrote the books had a deal with the movie company, and they decided they're going to make these movies. Well, it wasn't necessarily the way that they were written, it was just the way that they wanted to make the movies. And so the movies don't have anything to do with the order that the books are written. But James Bond, there's like however many books there are, let's say there's 17 books, only like 2 or 3 of the books I think connect to each other. They're essentially they're the same guy and they have the same characters, but they don't touch each other. They're in the same universe, but each one is like a separate adventure. And maybe they'll say something like, "Oh, I remember you like vodka martinis" or whatever. But aside from that, like, you don't have to know anything from the other books. So essentially you can watch them in any order you want. But like I say, even with all that said, technically there's people who have, I'm sure, put together lists of like what order to watch the Bond movies in that makes it, I don't know, either the most interesting or the most fun, or maybe with the best to least interesting. Like, because some of the Bond movies are pretty much duds. Some of them are really bad, and some of them are really good, like that make everybody like the movie series. So you might want to watch like the best ones first, and then as soon as they start getting boring, quit watching them, because I don't think there's any need to watch all of them unless you're really real. Because the thing is, it doesn't matter. Even if no matter what you like about the James Bond movies, they're all different because however many actors there's been, 5 actors now, and let's say you like something else, like the gadgets, like James Bond is known for his gadgets. There's a couple of movies where they don't even have gadgets in it hardly. Like, they decided, we're not going to make it about gadgets anymore. It's going to be about action or car chases or something stupid. So there's some movies where there's hardly like any gadgets, and then there's other movies where there's so many gadgets the plot is stupid because it's just an excuse to have another gadget or something. So anyway, I'm not saying all James Bond movies are great.
Here's Godzilla flying.
At least they got the physics and the realism in here. He knows exactly where he's going too.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Ozzy was asking, who's your favorite Bond actor?
Not any of the new people, and not Remington Steele. So probably the real one, Sean Connery.
Yeah, Connery is number 1. I
hate Roger Moore, so not him.
I did like it. I mean, the For Your Eyes Only was the first Bond movie that I ever saw, and I saw it in the theater when I was in grade school. I liked Lazenby. A lot of people didn't like Lazenby. He wasn't even an actor. He was a model that the producers ran into at a party.
And that's for the Majesty's Secret Service. They'll go in as one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll
watch all of them, but I probably like Craig second. At least he seems like a spy.
I liked him, but it's a departure from the Bond films.
Yeah, all the parkour and shit isn't really Bond.
But I for the most part, I did like him. Which there's didn't love him. I'd have to go back and really look at the movies to see, because I know there's at least one that I really didn't like. And what's the one where the hacker is the bad guy? The Daniel Craig ones.
Hmm.
Skyfall. I didn't like Skyfall. I thought Skyfall the song was better than Skyfall the movie.
I barely remember. I haven't watched the new ones very much. Whatever the one is where the girl drowns, I'd only watched that the one time because I hated it. And then I think I'm thinking of Remington Steele. He might be number 2, but I don't like that it's Remington Steele. Just bothers me because all I ever see is Remington Steele running around. I watched him for years on that show, and then he comes around and acts like he's James Bond. But that being said, I'll watch all the James Bond movies once in a while. But how many did you say there was, Gizzard? 17 or 27?
27.
I don't think I've ever watched all of them in one day.
I went back. Amazon had a bunch of them for free with Prime. So I went back and watched a whole bunch of them.
I mean, when there was probably 12, I might have watched them all in one day, but not 37. I don't think I could watch that many in one day. Or 27.
Larry Knopf said Sean Connery. The Saint. It's a Goldfinger.
Is it Casino Royale? The one Casino Royale I kind of like, not the Peter Sellers one, but
yeah. Well, wasn't that Craig's first one? Was Casino Royale?
Oh no, not that one. The old one, the weird one.
Oh,
wait, maybe I am mixing it up with the Peter Sellers one. Yeah, I think I'm mixing them all up in my head now at this point. Now, those I read all the books. I had a stack of books. Remember, I was saying when we would drive, I needed to read something, or it was I chose to read something instead of looking out the window all the time. So, in that era, so this would have been probably junior high, I think. In that era, I probably read all the James Bonds that existed at that point, because you could buy books for probably a nickel or something back in those days. It wasn't hard to acquire all the James Bond paperbacks. And they were great. The paperbacks are really, really fun. It's just all action adventure. There's very little of the movie stuff in the books. It's just all action.
Larry said he likes Pierce Brosnan, but not as 007.
Yeah, he's an okay character. I've seen some of his other movies and stuff. He does a good thief, right? But I don't like him as trying to be James Bond. You know that movie or the TV show with Emma Peel?
Yeah, the Avengers.
Right. Somebody like that would have been a good James Bond. Somebody who's actually English, super English, running around with a cane, umbrella and shit. That would have been an interesting James Bond.
Patrick McNee?
Well, I just mean in that style. Because James Bond ran around being a normal dude, kind of. But if he would have run around being a real British, not feminine, but you know how British people are weird. They always drink tea with their pinky.
Yeah, a little posh.
Yeah. If that had been a James Bond like that, that could have been interesting. I think there's a comedy James Bond where he's like that. One of the Peter Sellers.
Well, that's the way that I just lost his name. The second Bond, or not the second Bond.
Dudley Moore? No. Roger Moore.
Roger Moore. That's the way he was. He was a little bit posh.
Yeah, exactly. Stick up his ass posh. He could have done it right, but he just seemed so awkward. But I guess you're right. He was doing it in that British way. So maybe I'm just not remembering his movies. But you're right.
I don't know. Anytime he did karate, he was awful.
But he did it in a totally almost humorous James Bond way, like a Fred Flintstone version of James Bond.
Yeah, he was almost
Flintstones, Gizzard, back in the day.
What about it?
You've seen the Flintstones?
Oh yeah.
Because there was Flintstones where they were making fun of James Bond movies. So I would think, you'd have some interest in watching.
It's not that I weren't aware of them. It's kind of a part of society, and I've seen clips here or there, but I've never sat down and watched an entire movie.
Well, and we act like we had print on or watch on demand for up until like a few years ago. If you didn't go watch a movie in the movie theater, then you never saw the movie. And then you had to go to a VHS place and rent it. And unless you were rich, you're going to rent, one movie a weekend or something. So you're not going to be able to go back and watch every movie that ever existed. And I'm guessing your kids probably picked the movies. So
More
Maybe
often than not, yes.
yeah, so I could see not if you're not like going to movie theaters. I mean, there's a shit ton of movies I didn't see in movie theaters. I've seen almost every movie on a computer, not on anything else.
Yeah, or you had to wait for it to come on TV. Not not like HBO, but
No, like on regular TV. At those
Yeah.
that I quit watching TV when I was like in junior high or something. Like in high school, I was way too busy to watch TV ever. I might have had like one or two shows or something that I watched, maybe The Simpsons or something back then. But I was usually doing stuff in the evenings. I never watched. I was never like, I got to be home on Thursday to watch this on TV type of person. So I missed a lot of TV stuff. Of course, that being said, I'm sure I've seen a bunch of TV stuff that was on from like 9 o'clock on because I probably was home by then.
well, that was the wonder of the VHS.
Oh, and cable. For a while there, we could watch a lot of reruns and stuff on cable. Oh, you mean just having a VHS and recording? I never really did that. Set a VHS to record a show. I think we did do it, but not, to like watch like the, what do you call that thing? If there was something special, like the Star Wars special or something was going to be on. I don't think we had a VCR then, but that kind of thing I think I might have recorded, but I know people that would record like their shows and then watch their shows whenever they wanted. I just never did.
I used to record Saturday Night Live all the time because back in those days I couldn't stay up. I had kids and everything else, couldn't stay up till midnight. So I'd record it and watch it the next day. But you talk about movies that used to come on broadcast TV once they'd been out a couple of years. Bad thing about them is a lot of times they would edit them down for time. Plus, they had to fit the screen to fit the TV screen. You'd lose quite a bit of the picture on those, too.
Yeah, that's true.
Because we didn't have the widescreen TVs back then. And nobody wanted to watch anything in letterbox.
As he said, he liked the Matt Helm movies back in the day, but now they seem kind of cheesy.
Oh, Dean Martin. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. I see Matt Helm, the television series. Is that something different?
I don't know. I knew of the Matt Helm movies, but I never watched them. Because that's like Armand Flynn.
There's Nick Helm. Comedian Nick Helm explores the dramatic history of Brit. Oh, that's something different.
Yeah, Mr. Bob said Armand Flint. That's James Coburn. And Larry said his mom would record Star Trek Next Generation on VHS. And they used to have to pause the recording to cut out the commercials.
Like you remember seeing commercials like our VCR can detect the commercial and pause for it and stuff like that. And then I think they had to fight that or something. Like they got mad that they were recording without the commercials or something and yelled at them or something. Well, what about going the other way? Do you got something in mind that you're going to be watching this week?
Talking about me?
Well, we know you're not watching anything. Like, it's like you're required to watch one movie, you never do. But what movie are you supposed to be watching?
Oh gosh, I got a whole list of them. I just need to start going down the list, I suppose. I've got a good start, but there's a lot left on that list. Plus, they keep adding stuff to it.
Yeah, I've listened to some of the weird stuff they got you listening to or watching. I wouldn't want to watch half of them. Well, not half of them, but a chunk of them. Here's the thing, though. Do you have like a TV, a big ass TV, sitting in front of a couch or something in your house?
Well, my TV isn't huge. It's a 42-inch flat screen.
That's pretty big. But I'm saying, like, do you even have a TV area set up? Because some people assume that everybody has like a giant widescreen TV and a couch in front of it. Like, I haven't ever. Well, when I had a roommate, we had that. You know,
I have a living room, and it has a TV on one end, and then a coffee table and a love seat on the other. I don't have a big sofa, but
Well, okay. So you have a place to watch TV, is what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Because I would say if you don't even have a place to watch movies, then why would you watch movies? You know what I mean? If you never set up a place to watch movies, then you wouldn't be watching. Well, now you got no excuse if you got a love seat and a giant TV.
I watch most of them on my tablet.
Like, say, I watch all my stuff on the computer screen.
that doesn't seem comfortable at all sitting on your tablet watching movies. But
Yeah,
You
so
just
don't-
wiggle
yeah,
around, get comfortable.
It's kind of like a bicycle seat after a while.
The only time I watch movies on the TV is if I'm going to rent it from DirecTV, and that's not very often. Because most everything, all the movies I watch are off Amazon.
yeah, but if you have a Roku, you can have Amazon Prime Video loaded right on there.
Well, see, the problem is I run everything through a switching receiver. So it doesn't. Why? Everything runs into the receiver and then runs out to the components that it needs to go to. Or, it's everything runs through basically a main hub. So, like the smart TV stuff, I don't use a smart TV. One, because I don't want a smart TV. And I would have to run it back to the receiver and then back to the TV. So I could get audio, because I'll listen with a Bluetooth headset.
Or if you're like my son-in-law, he's got a PS5, and he just loads the apps up on his PS5.
Yeah, I used to have a PS3, but we got rid of it. And my TV is a Roku TV. But that was when our last TV died and I went to Costco to get another TV. It was a combination of price and size. Turned out to be the Roku TV. There was a guy hanging out in the TV section, and he was just kind of standing there looking at stuff, and I was walking around looking at different TVs, and we chit-chatted a little bit as I was walking around. And then I decided on the Roku TV, was putting it on a cart, and he goes, "Oh, you can stream with that." I said, "Yeah, I don't really care about any of that. I just want a TV to watch." "Oh, but you can stream with that." But yeah, I don't really care about any of that. But you can stream with that. Okay, I can stream with that. Thank you.
The thing is, I'd like to get a bigger TV, but I'm not sure I could fit it in the back of my Jeep, and I'm not sure I could get it upstairs by myself. Otherwise, I would buy a bigger TV in a heartbeat.
It's amazing how light they are.
Yeah, but I live on the third floor of an apartment building. If I'm carrying like a 64-inch TV up here. It's kind of awkward to do with one person.
If you want it bad enough, Gary, you'll find a way.
Invite Snob up and then make him carry it up there.
I'm not sure I could get it. I'm not sure I could fit it in my vehicle.
Again, make sure, hey, Snob, come up and visit and bring your pickup.
Yeah, really.
My goal is we've got a gas fireplace, and above it there's a niche kind of for a TV. And when we first moved in, it was either the guy for the security system or DirecTV. But I was talking to him. He goes, "Yeah, the layout for your house is identical to my house." And he was telling me how his TV fills that spot. And that's been my goal, is to slowly increase the TV sizes to fill that slot. But I have to do it incrementally because my wife doesn't really care for the large TV. She doesn't see the reason to have it. So I'm every opportunity to upsize the TV, I'll get a bigger size. We're not quite covering that whole space yet. I've got I'm up to 50-inch TV, I think. Something like that. She knows that's my goal. I've told her that before, but I just have to wait for the opportunity to come up to do it. It's like when the last TV broke, we've still got an older 42-inch upstairs in a spare bedroom. And she goes, "Well, you've got that other TV up in the Mariners room." So I told her, "Well, that TV will be broken too by the time it comes downstairs. It's staying up there." So she let me keep it up there.
Yeah, my TV in my living room, my 42-inch, is a Vizio that I bought
That's what
like
mine
the
is.
day after Christmas, 2009. So that's 15-year-old TV.
Well, I had a Vizio, and then it died right after the warranty ran out. So I bought another Vizio from Costco, got the extended warranty, and on top of that, you get the Costco warranty. And that's the TV that has still going. It's like 10 years old. But I upgraded from that one when my wife was away. And thought, well, the last one has lasted this long. I didn't get the extended warranty. It died a little bit after the warranty ran out.
So
I bought
I was given both of my TVs that they died, and then they were given to me because I was like, I'll take them. And then I went online and typed in the model number and the what do you call it, the symptom, and it was essentially a LED screen. It's nothing more than a bunch of LED lights with a strip of color thingies at the bottom. So the LED lights, the power strip for the LED lights used to go like around this piece of metal, and that metal would get hot, and then over time it would melt the wires and they would short. And it was like a known issue. So it's like, oh, okay, here's the known issue. And then here's the workaround. You unplug it. You essentially, this little ribbon of LED lights had a cord on it, and that cord is what melted. You would go in there and reroute the cord through the metal thing instead of going around the metal thing, which is probably the way they were supposed to set up in the factory in the first place. But anyway, you go through this piece of metal, they wouldn't have to touch the metal to go through. And you just sort of cut the ribbon, move the little plug thingy, so you didn't have to do anything except cut the ribbon and replug it back in, essentially. And then boom, this TV's been working. I mean, I don't even know when I got this, definitely years ago. But anyway, that was a tip. Like, I got my TV when it went out, and it was just a matter of like, it probably took longer to say all this than it took to fix it, because all they had to just take like 2 screws out of the back and unplug this wire, push it through a hole, plug it back in, and it worked fine. Yeah, I kind of bypassed it. Short
on the last TV. That's the backlights went out on it, and I still have it. But you can buy.
Sometimes it's easy.
You can buy the parts for it, but they've been out of stock.
Oh, okay. Sometimes you can buy another person's TV and swap, salvage parts, but unless they have the same exact problem, I guess.
Yeah, I couldn't decide if I wanted just to junk it or hang on to it till maybe I could get parts again. So I just threw it up in the spare bedroom for now.
Around here, there's TVs everywhere. Now, I have no idea if they're good or bad or whatever. I can just tell the size by looking at them, but to me, it seems like there's TVs, dime a dozen. If you buy a used TV, they're all over. Now, I don't know if they lose pixels like monitors, and that's why people get rid of them, or if they're just maybe old and shitty resolution. People want to watch better quality nowadays.
Well, for the DirecTV, I can only watch high definition channels in the winter because the neighbor's tree in the summer, when it gets the leaves, it blocks the high def satellites, but I can still get the standard def satellites. And because when I had them install the dish, I had them put them on the lower roof. So when it snows, we tend to get wet snow, and it'll I can reach it with a broom and brush it off. Or if it's icy, then I'll use a de-icer. I'll squirt a de-icer on it. So I didn't want it on the second story roof. But the tree grew faster than either of us expected, the installer or myself. Because he's like, yeah, this is good. It'll be good for years. But the tree grew faster than we thought it would. They were going to cut it down. I had the same kind of tree in my yard that, they put them in the neighborhood when they built the development. And I cut mine down because it got damaged.
Well, typically trees that grow real fast, yeah, that's what happens is they look cool and they look great for a while, but then they either keep growing or they die because, usually they grow quick to get light and then die.
Yeah, they were going to cut theirs down, and I was really hoping they would. And I, kind of encouraged them and told them how, contact the city, and because you have to get a permit to do it. But they ended up not doing it.
You can't just cut down a tree on your own?
Technically, no.
Oh my goodness.
You have to check with the city, and you can only do, is it 5? It's either 3 or 5 in like 1 or 2 year period.
It'd be a shame if a gallon of Roundup got spilled on that tree.
It's just so we keep our trees and don't deforest the area. Is kind of why they have it.
People just clear cutting.
There was somebody that did that, and I forget how much the fine was per tree, but it was like $100,000 fine in total. So they went back and replanted trees.
My neighbors put trees out in front of their house. We get them from the electric company, but they give them to you in like the fall, I think, because they're not stupid. They don't want you to put them out when it's 111, right? But after it gets cooler, I can get them for the electric company for free. They can get like 5 a year or something.
Really?
They're but they're not twigs, but they're like wimpy trees. They're not, they're going to take some TLC even in Arizona to get them to become shade. They're probably like a $50 tree. So they're, I guess it depends on which one you're talking about, but about shoulder height. They're not taller than a person yet. And they're, I don't know, they're way bigger than a Sharpie marker, but they're still, you could almost call them a branch growing out of the ground. They're little.
They're like a sapling.
Sapling, yeah. But not, I think of a sapling even smaller, but so they're not they're a juvenile tree or something, but anyway. And I guess that's probably practical because otherwise if they made them too big, we'd need equipment to dig the hole for them. They make them probably about the size of a 5-gallon bucket on the bottom. So it's, somebody can reasonably dig a hole for them. But anyway, my neighbor put them in, and that's got me thinking, dang, I ought to take them up on it this year and put them in or get some.
Get some shade trees.
I've got olive trees. They suck. They're horrible. They drop these little shit olives everywhere that look like bird shits. Essentially, look like gross olives. Imagine if somebody just winged a jar of olives on your yard every day, and then they have a branch that's like, I don't know what they call that leaf anymore, but like a willow or something, where it's a long willowy branch with a shit ton of long shitty leaves that all fall off every 5 minutes, so it sheds worse than mallow. So it's just horrible, and it drops these leaves all around, and then they dry up and blow all around. So as a bush, they're okay, but if you let them turn into a tree, then they get so tall that it's impossible to get to the tops of them, and they're like a willow tree. There's just a pain in the ass to get all of them. It's like cutting hair, not cutting a tree. It's like you're out there for like 25 minutes cutting each individual branch. Anyway, so that's why I've gotten them. I'm sick of them. I want to get like some regular tree that just has a trunk and branches. But it'd be a while before I get something taller than the house that would actually create shade or anything.
We've got mainly big leaf maples around the edge of our yard. There's some big Douglas firs in the neighborhood. I mean, like 75, probably not quite 100-foot tall Douglas firs. The big leaf maples kind of suck because the leaves are bigger than my hand. So they clog up the gear gutters and everything. And
I don't know. Maples look pretty cool though.
yeah, and they grow really fast. So you get a bunch of them, but then they all compete, and the losers slowly die off. So there's one in the backyard that it's like half the tree because the other half is shaded by the bigger maples.
Why would somebody drill a hole in your tree and put salt in the hole? What does that do? Kill the tree?
Yeah. I think he's roundabout suggestion.
Yeah. Saying how bad it would be if that happened in a community, whatever.
Oh.
2 hours, unprecedented show length. And now we're going to do a bracket at the 2 hour mark.
No, I can't do a bracket. There was no cracking. When they x-rayed it, the frame, there is no cracking, but there's some carbon scoring in the cylinder. And they might be able to hone it out, but if they have to sleeve it because it's the surplus Soviet, the bracket I have, there were only 3 made. They were all experimental, and 2 of them were destroyed in the Chernobyl disaster. So
I heard that they caused the Chernobyl situation.
It's up for debate. So there's not extra parts, and since it runs so hot, you can't use steel or aluminum for the sleeves. They used a rare earth metal that was from Tunguska. The blast created a special, so it's a whole thing, and we'll have to wait and see if they can hone the cylinders out.
I've been losing hair ever since the last bracket. Should I be concerned about that?
It should be okay. But let me play this.
GearWebsites.com. Websites.com for 2A stickers, patches, books, logo design, web design, 3D printing, technology consulting.
More. GearWebsites.com. Is there anything you'd like to plug, G-Webs?
A hole in a bucket.
Dear Liza.
But imagine Suicide Prevention Saturday on Brooke Genie's show. That's a pretty good effort to normalize the conversation about mental health awareness.
And if you're not familiar with Brooke Cheney, she is an awesome lady. She's a competition shooter. She's I'm not sure who she's certified through. A certified trainer.
USAA, and then
USAA.
probably NRA too. She seems pretty thorough. Maybe even some license to teach or certification to teach from some other instructors. I wouldn't be surprised.
And then she does the Suicide Prevention Saturday, which kind of to raise awareness and give people tools to work through problems.
Just a positive person with a great angle on ending our endless debate on guns.
Gary,
Yes.
is there anything you'd like to plug?
Well, I'm going to try this new thing this Friday. We're going to start doing a weekly show. I think I'm going to call it Foul Territory. I'm going to start doing it at 9 o'clock every Friday night, 9 o'clock Central Time. And just so people won't think it's a brand new show, I'm going to start it with a higher number than that. So I think I'm going to start with 267 or something like that, just so it'll seem like an established show.
So
Like
it doesn't
when they-
seem like starter checks.
Right.
When they
So
put $1 in the tip jar right away at the beginning of the night.
that would be cool. But yeah, come by and check it out and see if you like it. Other than that, let's see. Got some knife videos to do. Got a new gun, so I got some gun videos to do. I got all kinds of stuff to do. Just got to find time to fit it all in. Thanks for having me.
Well, I appreciate you being here. And I appreciate everybody that was in the live chat interacting with us. It makes it so much more fun than, I do enjoy talking with people that are on the panel, but when the people that are watching participate too, it makes it that much better. And so I appreciate everybody that was out there. And if you were watching and didn't say anything, don't be afraid to speak up. I do appreciate you too. And if you watch this in replay, leave a comment. Anything we talked about, agree with, disagree with, who's your favorite James Bond? And this is an off weekend coming up, so the next chat will be next Wednesday. And other than that, I hope everybody has a good rest of the night and go do something good.